Hi everybody, hope you're well, hope your family's safe in these times of COVID-19. My name is Claude Bertoni and I want to say thank you for visiting my YouTube site. So today I want to talk about what it takes to become a dog trainer. I get a lot of inquiries from people saying, Claude, it was good watching your work and I really want to get involved in dog training, but I'm not quite sure how to do that and I don't know where to start. So this video today is about trying to give you bit of information about what you need to do to become a dog trainer. So in effect, we'll be talking about what you need to do in terms of finding out where the courses are in the area that you live, how to determine whether it's actually a good course and whether it actually suits your requirements or not, what your personality is like and whether you're actually suited to become a dog trainer, and to get a better understanding of what's required and what's a commitment level that'll be needed actually going forward. So be patient. Stay through to the end of the video presentation. There'll be a list of dog training centers that will be appropriate depending on where you live, and I'll go through each one of those one by one to tell people what they need to know. So thanks again, guys. See you at the end of the video. So you want to become an accredited dog trainer. Congratulations. It's an incredibly rewarding profession and it does give you lots of options for career paths down the track depending on which course you do. So before we go too far, let's see if you have what it takes to become a good dog trainer. So you want to become a dog trainer, but you're not sure that you have what it takes. So let's have a look at a few points that I think are pretty important just to find out if being a dog trainer is right for you. The first thing is a love of all animals. Yes, we will be doing a lot of effort training dogs going forward in dog training. However, there'll be situations where we need to put the dog that we're training in and around lots of other different animals. For whatever reason, you may be training a therapy dog or an assistance dog and it may need to come into contact with other pets within the family dynamic, or you may have a dog for search and rescue and people are lost in the woods, so you need to be able to have a dog that's not going to be destroying wildlife in the context of doing what it needs to learn. So what we need to do is to make sure that we have a love of all animals, to make sure that the transition or the training that you'll be doing with the dog lends itself to all the animals in general that you'll be coming in contact with. This is very important. Next thing that's important to understand is a willingness to learn. Now, being adults and doing an adult course is a little bit different to what it was at school. There's very little pressure to learn, so the responsibility will effectively be on you to make sure that you do everything that's required to fulfill the requirements of the course. Now, this could be pretty onerous because dog training courses invariably will rely on or require you to do theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge, and they'll be at all sorts of different times, and you'll be getting dirty and you'll be getting sweaty on hot days, and it could be raining and it could be miserable weather, and then you may need to go back to the training organization to sit in on a lecture and you'll be not in your happiest state of mind. So you need to have a willingness to learn to carry you through lots of challenging scenarios. If you have that drive and desire to learn, you will be fine going through this. Okay. What you do need is an open mind to new ideas. Now, most people, when they get to their mid-20s and mid-30s, invariably have a predetermined way of doing things, and it's pretty hard to change their mindset. So being a dog trainer is invaluable that you have an incredibly open mind to new ideas, especially when you're doing a course, because if you do a good course, they will throw lots of challenging ideas and scenario at you, and what it will require you to do is to actually embrace lots of different ways of thinking, because the more options that you actually have in the way you address and approach problems gives you many more tools going forward. So having an open mind to new ideas will definitely accelerate your learning. Okay, you need to be good with people. Being a dog trainer doesn't just mean training dogs, it also means training people and understanding people and having a bit of a soft spot for people that actually have a lot of issues. Owning a dog is an emotional situation, so you'll probably find as a behavioral trainer, if you go down that path, dogs will be stressed given a specific problem that they're dealing with. But their owners will be highly stressed because they don't know what to do. So they'll be looking at you for guidance, support, assistance. You need to be a counselor. You need to be all things to everybody. So being good with people as well as dogs is really important, because that does make you a lot more sympathetic and a lot more flexible as a dog trainer. Okay, having patience and empathy. This follows on with that. I do a lot of work in the field of expert witness. So in many situations, I'm doing behavioral assessments for people that their dogs have had a very unfortunate run-in with a legal scenario, so their dogs are maybe seized or impounded. The people haven't had access to their dogs in a while, so they're stressed, they're concerned, they're facing a lot of money trying to deal with all the legal ramifications of the situation that we're in. And we need to put ourselves in the position of the person, because people will be stressed, they'll be uncertain, and they'll need to be guided through a lot of the process. The same thing applies with the dog. If we're dealing with dogs with severe or chronic behavioral disorders, they are not comfortable animals. Their learning will be impaired. So one of the important things about being a good dog trainer is having a lot of patience in the training and teaching that you'll be doing with your dogs, but also carry that through to the people that own them. It's a collective effort, and all of them need to be brought along the journey with you. Okay. Now, experience is not necessary. So a lot of people think that in order to be a good dog trainer, you need to have been in the training industry for 1,000 years and be great at doing everything. I find that people that have just got a general interest in dogs and a strong passion to be around dogs make the best dog trainers, because they're willing to open their minds up to everything and learn everything possible. Sometimes having experience can be detrimental, because if you've been doing something one way for 20 years, to change how you do things because somebody else is showing you that there are better ways to do it, you may get a bit of resistance. So a lot of training organizations will tend to prefer people that actually don't have a great deal of experience. Sometimes though, experience can be beneficial if you've been working for say 10 to 15 years as a licensed security guard or scent detection, somebody working customs and quarantine. You'll have a good understanding of dog psychology going forward. That will also help. Okay, you need to be able to commit. These courses sometimes can go between 8 to 10 months, and they'll require commitment over weekends, and sometimes the conflict between doing the course and having a social life will have a bit of an interesting challenge for you. So being able to commit over a sustained duration will be greatly beneficial. So the more commitment you put to the course, the more that you'll get out of it. It sounds obvious, but we need to cover that. Okay, and the most important one for mine in terms of going forward is, what do I want to do when I complete the course? Sometimes people just do a course for their general knowledge. Other people do a course because they want to become just a dog trainer working in an obedience center. Other people want to do the dog trainer's course because they might want to get into a chosen field. They might want to go down security and law enforcement work. They may have a passion for scent detection, which then can lead to search and rescue work. The sky's the limit. So what's important for people to understand is what you want to do with your course when you have it potentially will dictate which course you do, because not all courses offer the same outcomes going forward in the training. So understanding what end in mind you have is important in the process of choosing what you want to do. Okay, so now that we've determined that you do have what it takes to become a dog trainer, let's focus a little bit more of our attention on the courses that you want to do. So the very first question that we need to come to terms with regards to any course that you do is this course accredited and where? And what I mean by an accredited course is, does it have a formal qualification that you can actually use and say that you've achieved? In Australia, most of the dog training courses will either be a Certificate 3 or a Certificate 4 course, but what we need to figure out, is the accreditation state-based, so it's only recognised within the state that you live in, or is it nationally accredited, in which case is it accredited Australia-wide? And if you're somebody from overseas that wants to do the courses, are these courses accredited back in the country that you've come from? Now, in Australia, we have a lot of people that come from a lot of countries to study dog training courses, because we have an abundance of really good dog training courses and good dog trainers. And invariably, most of the courses that are offered here in Australia have got formal qualification or recognition internationally. Next question, is the course full-time or part-time, and how long does it go for? This is an important question that you need to ask based on the time commitment that you've got going forward. Most of the good courses here in Australia will probably go for a period of about 8 to 10 months. They will require significant week time commitment and a lot of study, obviously, during the week to achieve all the requirements of the course. But some courses may require you to attend full-time for maybe 1 or 2 weeks just to supplement the learning progressively. So we need to figure out how long the course is for and what commitment level is required. Does the course offer remote or distance learning? Now, this is important because sometimes people don't want to do a course that actually requires attending on a regular basis. So sometimes courses offer distance or remote learning where you can do a lot of stuff online, but there will still be a requirement that you may need to attend a course for a small period of time, maybe 1 or 2 weeks during the process, just to supplement the learning, similar to the part-time course offers as well. So again, very important to find out if this is offered in the course going forward, because sometimes there may be a limitation. You may be living in a remote part of the country and it may just be physically impossible to get to the place that the courses are offered. So sometimes these distance learning modules are very important. Okay. Does the course offer practical experience? There is no point doing a dog instructor course if it's purely theoretical. Yes, theory is good, but we need to physically understand how to apply that knowledge to dogs. So courses that offer a balance between a theoretical component and then supplementing that with practical experience is absolutely fundamental and invaluable going forward. So the question to ask is, does the course offer practical experience? And if so, how does it do it? Okay. Very important subject is the topic of training methods. What training methods are covered? Now, the problem with a lot of dog trainers is that we have preconceived ideas as to what we consider to be good, bad, or indifferent in terms of dog training. If we really want to become a well-rounded dog trainer, we need to understand all methods that are available to us and then make an educated decision as to which ones we choose to use and which ones we choose not to use. So for my preference, the courses that are the best are the ones that actually show you everything, treat you as an adult, and then expect you to make your own mind up going forward as to which methods best suit how you want to approach the dog training. There is no point doing a course that only tailors one particular type of training and it excludes so many other facets that could actually supplement your learning, because effectively it's a form of censorship. So trying to find a course that offers experience and exposure to many varied training methodologies is the course that I think is the one that you should be approaching. Okay. Now, do I get any recognition for prior learning? Sometimes people have had a lot of lifetime experience working at a shelter, or they may have worked for the police or the prisons or for customs and quarantine, in which case they've developed a lot of theoretical knowledge in a specific field. And it would be a shame to waste that specific knowledge. So a lot of dog training courses actually have an understanding of what they consider to be recognition of prior learning, where they actually give you a credit in terms of the course, content and knowledge, based on what you've actually done outside of the course. So if you've got a lot of theoretical knowledge in behavioral components of dog training or maybe scent detection, a lot of courses will say, yes, you can exclude XYZ modules in the course because you have a developed understanding of that. So worthwhile asking before you commit to the course, do they offer recognition of prior learning as a way of getting a reduced amount of time in the course? How much is the course and what are the payment options? Now, again, if we're trying to do this as an adult, we're trying to balance lifetime commitments, we're trying to balance mortgages and everything else going forward. So sometimes the cost of a course may tip the balance and it may be a bit too expensive. So finding out how much the course is and what are the payment options, because sometimes payment options might be scattered over the whole lot of the course. They might even offer sponsorship. I know in the case when I did the course, I was attending a training center and I had a certain level of competency as a dog handler, and the person that was exposed in running the dog training course back then decided to sponsor me through the full course. So I didn't have to pay a cent. The training organization paid for everything for me, and then I had to find a way of paying that back through working at the training center for a while. So talking about the course costs and what payment options is an important thing going forward. Now, this is one really important question, which usually is a stumbling block for a lot of people, is do I need to have my own dog to use as part of the learning process? Some courses in the fine print say that you do need to have a dog, simply because a lot of the training exercises that they expect you to do during the course of the training will need to be done in your own time at home, and that may require the use of a dog. Now, it could be your dog or it could be a friend's dog, but they may require you to do that. Some dog training courses have an affiliation with the dog training center, or they may have an association with a boarding kennel, in which case they may allow you to use dogs that are boarded at the boarding kennel for specific purposes that are non-invasive. But to understand whether you need your dog or another dog, or you have access to other dogs as part of the course, is pretty important, and it's worthwhile finding that out at the front. So while these are not the only questions that need to be asked, I think these are the main ones that will give you some kind of an understanding as to what the courses actually do offer. And if they tick all of your requirements going through, then at least with these basic questions in mind, you know that you're actually on a good path to get some good success going forward. Okay, so we figured out that you have what it takes to become a dog trainer, and we know what questions to ask a particular dog training authority that's actually running their courses. So I've done a bit of research for you just to make your life a bit easier. So here was my pick of the registered hands-on dog obedience instructor courses in Melbourne that I think are worthwhile following. The first one is definitely my favorite. This is a course that I did many years ago as a dog trainer. It's one that's run by the National Dog Trainers Federation here in Victoria. Now, the National Dog Trainers Federation is a governing body that represents qualified and registered dog trainers Australia-wide, so they have a very strong code of ethics, and dog trainers need to uphold those code of ethics or they get removed from their registration. So, and without that registration, you don't have any qualifications. So it's very, very important. So the National Dog Trainers Federation offers what's called a Professional Dog Trainer Certificate 3 course. Now, this course is very specific to dog training. There's not much generality about it. It's actually a really good, no-nonsense, hands-on course that teaches you just about everything you need to be a good dog trainer, and covers just about every training technique that you'll be using in the real world. It just doesn't limit it to one form of dog training. It does require an open mind because it does show you lots of different training methodologies, and some people have a bit of an issue with doing things that are outside of their comfort zone. But trust me, this dog trainers course gives you all the tools that you need as a dog trainer to be able to do whatever you want. It's basically all things to all dog trainers. If you do this course, when you graduate, you have a high potential to be able to follow any particular chosen career path, whether it be security and law enforcement, whether it be scent detection, whether it be assistance or therapy dogs, whether it be complex obedience skills, whether it be class obedience, whether it's behavioral consultations. This course does all the groundwork for you to prepare you for all the directions that you want to go. It's up to you then to pick which path and further educate yourself. It's based out of Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane in terms of a local course option, which means it would be sort of 8 to 10 months of duration over weekends, where you turn up to do lectures and seminars. On a weekend situation, you'll be doing homework. You will also be paired with the Dog Obedience Training Centre that's actually recognised and affiliated with the National Dog Trainers Federation to compound the theoretical learning with your practical learning. So it's definitely a theory and hands-on training centre. It also offers a distance learning option, which means if you don't live anywhere near these capital cities, you can do the online component of the course and then supplement the learning. I think from memory, it's about a 2-week period, a couple of times a year in the course, just to get your theoretical and your practical knowledge dovetailed in together. Very good course. The next course that I would recommend is one run by the Australian Association of Professional Dog Trainers, AAPDT. Now, this association is very, very similar to the National Dog Trainers Federation. In fact, it's a competing body. So in Australia, we're lucky to have 2 organisations that look after dog trainers. The people that are registered with AAPDT are qualified dog trainers as well. And this course is a certified instructor course in dog training and behaviour. I'm not sure whether it's a Certificate 3 or Certificate 4 course, but I know it is definitely certified. And my understanding, I think it's just certified in Victoria. But it's a very, very good course, and it's a specific dog trainers course. There's not much generality about this one as well. So similar to the National Dog Trainers Federation, it does prepare you for a lot of different training options going forward when you finish the course. So it's a very good course on its own. To my understanding, there's only a Melbourne local course option, and they do have an affiliation with a couple of training centres to do their practical components. So again, similar to the National Dog Trainers Federation, there's a theory and a practical component, and they are done hand in hand. I'm confident that they do not offer distance learning simply because they want to make sure that you learn and you do your theory and practical progressively week to week. The third course is one that's run by the Hanrob Dog Training Academy. Now, Hanrob is also a boarding and training facilities that has branches in just about every capital city where they do offer boarding and training for dogs. So the course that's run by the Hanrob Dog Training Academy is definitely a Certificate 4 in Companion Animal Services. Now, it's a pretty general course, but it is a Cert 4 and it is recognised Australia-wide. So it's a very, very good course. I don't think it's as specific as the National Dog Trainers and the Australian Association of Professional Dog Trainers, but still, nonetheless, it's a good training course that you can do. It's offered out of Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane, and they only have a local course option, which basically means you need to travel to those particular areas and do the course over that period of time. Now, I'm pretty sure that they would run on a weekend as well, but being run through a boarding and training facility, they have plenty of options of having dogs available to do the practical. So they don't require you to join up with an obedience training center. It's completely done in-house, so you know that the theory and the practical is connected by the same people that are delivering the course. It's a very good course, but again, it's not as specific as the previous ones. The last course that I want to suggest that people can do is one that's run by the Delta Institute of Australia. Now, the Delta Institute of Australia provides a very limited course from my understanding. It doesn't cover lots of different training methodologies used by the other 3 training centers. There is nothing wrong with that, but it does give you a restricted view of what's available in terms of dog training procedures and processes going forward. It's the same Certificate 4 course that's offered by Hanrob. It's my understanding it's offered Australia-wide, and again, it's paired with obedience training centers that are aligned with Delta across Australia to make sure that what they're teaching in theory follows hand in hand. To their own admission, people that do the Delta course do it for an understanding of dog training. It doesn't prepare you for other training processes going forward. Like if you do the Delta course, you will have a hard time getting into anything to do with scent detection or security and law enforcement, simply because I don't think that they cover enough information to help you understand what's required in that. But it does give you a good grounding in general dog obedience going forward, so that then you can still leverage off that and potentially do something down the track that's more constructive. But if you want to have anything to do with work in the dog training industry going forward, possibly one of the other dog training courses, either through the National Dog Trainers Federation or the Association of Professional Dog Trainers, may be the better option going forward. So these are the main 4 dog training centers in Melbourne. I hope this has given you a bit of an understanding of what's available. I'll be putting a link to all these organizations in the description below the YouTube video, so you don't have to do too much research. There will be an active link that will take you to the respective websites. Again, contact these people, find out what it is that they charge, how they offer, all the different training, ask them lots of questions, make sure that they are the right one for you. Any comments, any questions, any concerns about it, if you want to know a bit more, drop me a comment and I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks again for sticking through to the end, guys. Hope the video has been useful. Talk to you soon. As always, a big thank you for watching my channel. To keep the information free and help share the videos, please hit the subscribe and like button so we can share the message with everybody. To stay in touch, just hit the bell button so that you can be advised of future notification. Thanks again, guys.